Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. We begin in northeast Nebraska, where a Louisiana man accused of murder is a step closer to a jury trial, but with a major change. David Phillips is accused of shooting a co-worker after an argument broke out in March of 2023. On Thursday, the state filed a motion to clarify whether Phillips' past work history and claims of his marijuana use could be used in trial. Phillips' attorney agreeing that the work history could be included, but said the alleged marijuana use is irrelevant. Now, the judge, Brian Meismer, told the parties to come to an agreement on that motion. The jury trial is scheduled for April, but because of prior commitments, Judge Meismer will not be the one overseeing the trial. Instead, retired Grand Island Judge Mark Young will oversee the rest of the case. The 2 counts of defamation alleged by the former Kearney High girls basketball coach against the parent of a player have been dismissed. Buffalo County District Court Judge John Marsh made that ruling on Thursday, citing the statute of limitations for slander claims. J.D. Carson had accused Amber Garner of making false statements about him back in 2021. Now, there are 4 other defamation counts still part of the lawsuit hanging in the balance. Carson hasn't named a defendant in those counts, though. All of this stemming from Carson's dismissal as girls basketball coach in November. The school officials said they received allegations that Carson had a flirtatious relationship with a player. He denies the allegations and wants to sue whoever made the claims. Garner's attorney denies that she's the one who made any statements to anyone about wrongdoing by Carson. Well, calls to condemn but not remove a Nebraska lawmaker intensified Thursday during a hearing in Lincoln. State Senator Steve Halloran accused of workplace harassment for inserting the name of a Senator Kavanaugh while reading a graphic and violent rape scene from the floor of the legislature. Joe Jordan has our report.
This has got to stop.
In a rare hearing before the legislature's executive board, Democrat State Senator Michaela Kavanaugh is calling for the formal censure, condemnation of Republican State Senator Steve Halloran, who calls today's hearing unconstitutional, refused to show, insisting it should not be streamed statewide. It was. Halloran argues he's being attacked for words spoken in debate.
"Stop staring at me," he said.
That was Halloran reading sexually graphic excerpts from a book about rape. While blasting the book's apparent availability in Nebraska school libraries, he inserted the name of another lawmaker, a Democrat.
"I kneel before him, Senator Kavanaugh."
This was Halloran the next day.
Should I have interjected the senators' names? No. So again, I apologize to Senator Michaela Kavanaugh.
My 10-year-old should not be subjected to hearing her mother be asked to perform a sex act.
The board putting off any decision on a full legislative vote to censure Halloran apparently until sometime next week. But there was this.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being willing to take this on.
Thank you, Senator Michaela Kavanaugh, for the strength that you have and are now exhibiting.
I just want to thank you for your courage and your composure.
I just want this to be over.
In Omaha, Joe Jordan, News Channel, Nebraska.
In national news, federal dollars now flowing into Maryland for the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The government expediting the $60 million payment, and that's just a start. Amy Kiley has the latest.
We've got work to do.
Now, Maryland is getting $60 million to help with that work to recover from the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. Officials say the federal dollars are for initial efforts like removing debris and laying the groundwork for reconstruction.
We're talking 3,000 to 4,000 tons of steel that's sitting on top of that ship.
Rebuilding will likely cost hundreds of millions of dollars. President Joe Biden vows the federal government will pay it all.
$60 million is helpful, but it's really a down payment.
Biden can draw funds from the Federal Highway Administration and the recent infrastructure law. In Congress, some hardline Republicans agree the bridge holds national importance.
We have a federal interest in ensuring that we've got interstate commerce.
But they're still fiscal conservatives.
We got to see what the deal is, and obviously I believe in paying for everything as you go.
Experts say insurance companies will be on the hook for more than $1 billion. They predict years of litigation involving maritime law older than the Titanic. One legal expert says businesses that rely on the port can't recover interruption losses from the ship.
This is not just about Maryland. This is about the nation's economy.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The state of Nebraska, part of a group of Republican-led states suing the Biden administration to block a new student loan repayment plan that provides a faster path to cancellation and lower monthly payments for millions. In a statement issued yesterday, Attorney General Mike Hilgers argued that Biden overstepped his authority in creating the SAVE plan, which was made available to borrowers last year and has already canceled loans for $150,000. Biden announced the plan in 2022 alongside a separate plan to cancel up to $20,000 in debt for more than 40 million Americans. The Supreme Court, though, rejected his plan for mass cancellation. The IRS's Criminal Investigation Unit says it's looked into tax and money laundering cases worth almost $9 billion, and those more than 1,600 cases are related to COVID fraud. The agency says almost 800 people have been indicted for their alleged COVID-related crimes. 373 of them have been sentenced to time in federal prison. The Criminal Investigation Unit says it has a 98.5% conviction rate in prosecuted COVID fraud cases, and they say they plan on continuing their investigation since they now have additional resources provided by the Inflation Reduction Act. One of the most recent cases involved a Nebraskan. Just this week, an Omaha man was ordered to pay back over $200,000 for misrepresenting his business on a PPP application. Now, speeding through airport security without any hiccups, that's the goal for most travelers, and it's one the Biden administration says it's working to safeguard, including people wary of new technology. Vice President Kamala Harris announced new mandates aimed at preventing government abuse of artificial intelligence, with a big emphasis on stopping discrimination. Ivan Rodriguez has more on the protections and what they mean for TSA screenings.
Don't feel comfortable using the facial recognition technology at airports? No problem. That's the message from the Biden administration as it rolls out new safeguards to protect Americans from government abuse of artificial intelligence.
When it comes to anything regarding personal data, there is definite worry that that information is being used elsewhere.
Under the requirements, which take effect December 1st, travelers should be able to refuse facial recognition scans at airport security without worrying they'll be delayed or lose their place in line.
There is going to be a good portion of people that are breathing a sigh of relief, knowing that they don't have to opt in to anything regarding personal data when it comes to their travel experience.
Some travelers seem unconcerned and say AI is already the norm.
We're already using it for our phones consistently. I mean, just about everybody's doing it.
But there's evidence that using AI tools like facial recognition can lead to discrimination, something the Biden administration is also working to prevent in government agencies.
There have been numerous studies that demonstrate that facial recognition is less accurate with the faces of people of color.
The new mandates are designed to cover a range of scenarios, from TSA screenings at airports to decisions by other agencies, which affect Americans' healthcare, employment, and housing.
I think the real problem here for safety advocates who are concerned about the use of technology is that there are some areas where a lot of experts feel it's not appropriate to use artificial intelligence at all.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
And AAA issuing a warning to drivers you're likely going to pay more for gas this spring. According to a AAA spokesperson, the early spring surge in oil prices was likely caused by Ukraine's targeting of Russia's oil infrastructure. But now gas prices will likely resume their usual slow and steady seasonal increase with spring break and summer vacations ahead. AAA also says new data shows gas demand dipped slightly last week, but while a lower demand usually helps push gas prices lower, AAA says they're still elevated because of rising oil prices. Friday's average in Nebraska was $3.35. That's 29 cents higher than a month ago, 9 cents more than a year ago. And baseball players at Diller Odell High School may soon be able to play for the Beatrice Orangemen. A co-op arrangement is being considered. BHS Athletic Director Gus Brown says Beatrice was contacted by Diller Odell, which does not have high school baseball.
We had our parent meeting in the spring. We sat down and visited with the parents to see if there were any objections from the parents, to see if this is something we want to do. The only concern was like, if we get enough kids, can we put together a reserve schedule? And so we currently do that with all of our sports. If we get enough kids, we try to pick up reserve games, because hit and miss every year, you never know who's going to have what. So I think it's a good deal.
Beatrice Public Schools currently has other co-op arrangements for sports with other districts, with Freeman Public for girls wrestling and with Freeman Norris and Fairbury for swimming. If approved, the baseball co-op between Beatrice and Diller Odell would start in the coming school year, with the initial agreement for 2 years. The plan will be on the Beatrice School Board agenda for action in April. And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com and click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.